That was Jova by Debihan. Now, let's have a look and see what is in 7th place. Above this one, let's have a look. Out of Place by djudjeito. Is this level actually out of place? Let's find out. Okay, apparently it is. We have some really nice quivering text. Very stylistic intro. Not very spacey, but that's a cool transition. We're in the sky with the clouds. I love these little monuments that are kind of bobbing around on screen. The flickering is pretty interesting. I'm not really sure what the lighting is, but it looks cool. I like the speed lines that give a bit of emphasis. I think the composition is super interesting. Having the foreground be the same color as the background. Everything is open. There's hardly any structuring. At times like these, really brings you into the background. Let's see how this progresses. Again, we're going with this section. I thought we were going to transition a second ago, but let's have a look. It looks like we're leaving this section now. We have... Oh, that is a sick transition. Linking it to the foreground of this level, which shoots back and shows you more of the level. We have like a constellation being drawn out. Really nice animations and nice rotations right there. I love the shapes. The imagery is super cool. Feels very unique. It doesn't feel like a GD level at the moment. But look how luscious this is. We're zoomed all the way out, and we have a slow, floaty swing copter with this climactic part of the song, which is an interesting mix. We have some statues in the background, incredible line art. Seems like we're skipping a little bit of gameplay here, or am I tweaking? I don't know, but wow, look at how the background poses itself on the level. And then we have these floating objects which appear in both the foreground and the background. It really makes you feel like you're in the middle of everything. There are so many layers to this that don't really overstate themselves. They just exist on screen, and it's just eye candy all around. But look how incredible this is. The structures feel so engrossing, and we're stepping down on a circular beam. Like, the perspective is so incredible. These blocks are not flat. I love that. The floating orbs and the particles just go so crazy, paired with the lines rotating in the background. And I love how well it uses color to really emphasize certain parts of the level. Like, powerful orb jumps shine really bright, brighter than the actual block design, which is pretty cool. Then we had the dash orb that lit up the background. We have the different sections of this background. It's very artsy. It doesn't really stick to the same style all the way through the level, and it uses this really deep red mixed with other muddy colors just to make you feel completely out of place, like the level is called. Just look at how well it puts you in the midst of everything, though. It's so cool. I love the way that this whole thing is sequenced. We have the star particles. We have amazing transitions going in and out of different planets and areas. I love how fuzzy the foreground looks in this section. It has just the right amount of contrast between the details and the blocks for them to look detailed but not distracting. And the whole environment is brought together with animated assets like that spinning globe. We have the repeated star particles, cool transitions, using lots of circles and putting them right in the center of the screen and letting them stretch out with those big spiky parts of the sun. But this camera framing is amazing, just showing the true scale of the level, showing you more and more as you draw out. Man, what a cool transition out too. This ground section is amazing. Look at, how are they even doing that? Is that a gradient? These have to be gradients, because look, the squares are shaded. That's incredible. Wow, and the slow rotating background, the way that the ground is just waving and changing perspective with this cool rotation effect. And nothing really feels out of place, even though it doesn't... Whoa. We're just floating right now. It takes a lot of risks. I like it for that reason. That's incredible. 7th place, well deserved. Holy crap, this level does not feel stale for 1 second. Even if you have quite long sections, it really does a lot to keep you invested with different transitions and animations that give you a bit of an oomph into a section. Then it gives you a bit of time just to recalculate and like take everything in. And then once you're settled in, it gives you such convincing world building that you just have to admire where you are. Like, this is incredible, putting so much into it, managing to make the layers convincing even though everything is flickering from front to back. I think at times, for my taste, it's a little excessive, especially in the beginning, because I don't think the lighting here really makes much sense to be flickering. It seems like it's doing that just to stay interesting. But in other sections, like this one, it feels a lot more spellbinding in a way. It brings life to the section, whereas in the beginning I felt like it was a little bit distracting. But wow, so much is going on in that level. You could watch that hundreds of times and probably find different things to take away from it. but I love the personification of the different aspects, how vintage it feels with the faces on everything. Kind of reminds me of old school art, especially with how it uses browns and these desaturated colors, and it feels very rustic. It feels like it's a storybook. It feels very futuristic, but also very classic and traditional and old school at the same time. I don't know, it has like kind of an old film aspect to it. Like an old film about the future, but the future is not really like this, you know what I mean? It's very hard to explain how I feel about this level, but yeah, that was phenomenal. Out of place. Now, this one did lag my computer a little bit while I was practicing, so I'm a little bit nervous about normal mode, but this is one of the most surreal feeling levels I've played in a while. It really lets you bask in everything that's going on. I'm a huge fan. I love these moving little obstacles. It feels so crazy to play. I am not surprised that this got Mythic. I think a lot of the levels past this point have got Mythic, but yeah, this one is just really, really sick. It's really transforming the boundaries of what a GD level can feel like, really using the size to its advantage. With lots of creative art, you'll see a lot of line art that just looks so incredible all together. It just ties the level together. You see, we've got lines going around the outside. You'll see it a lot. You've got structures that are very clearly made out of lines and then filled in. Then you've got this animation that opens it up, and this is probably my favorite looking part in the level. I absolutely love this. I think it looks so insanely incredible, having the lines all moving different directions. It's so trippy. And then this is a really cool transition too. It's very open. It really lets you just look around and feel the level, which is what I really appreciate about it. This swing copter is pretty difficult. It does tell you exactly where to click, but if you don't really follow that, you can survive, but it's not very often. So I just gotta focus on clicking these exact timings. Oh, I thought I was gonna miss them. You see, it's quite strict, but look how cool this is. The flickering is just immense. And then you have really, really weirdly composed sections, like this central beam in the center is actually a ground that you can sit on, and you just have to avoid the objects. So they're very slowly moving from right to left, and there's no ceiling, there's no border on the right-hand side. It really lets the spiral capture the entire screen. And this part feels so insane too. This is the part that was lagging me the most. There's so many different pieces of this background that come together to make this part feel like how it does. I think I'm dead. Oh, dude, that's so unfortunate. The low gravity really caught me off guard there. I thought you had to jump down to that orb, but you just fall. That's tough. Okay, thankfully you can skip those orbs. I think the video that I watched did exactly the same thing, which is really funny. Also, the decision to have a lot of this level as swing copter is really interesting to me. Yeah, again, we have rotating lines and shapes in the background, and sometimes it lights up this grid that's in the background that looks really sick if you get to see it in its full entirety. Like right here, this looks so... I thought that was a platform. That's really tough. I really don't like being controlled and thrown down to the ground there. Feels very out of place, like the level said. I just think, if I have all the freedom to be a swing copter, why would you throw me down on the ground and not just let me like roam around? Maybe make the transition a little bit more open. I don't know. That's just a small nitpick I have about the level, because it's always scary going through. And I don't want this level to be scary. I want it to be fun to play, which it is for the most part. Considering how open and slow the gameplay is, I think it's actually very fun. I think the middle swing copter is actually really cool. How you have to click on the certain parts. I like the fact that it's signposted like that and that it uses orbs and it feels right, you know? What a cool ending, by the way. Oh, I got tricked by the progress bar into thinking that I was done with the level, but I am actually nowhere near done. So I don't know why it's like that, but hey, I guess we just keep going. I didn't practice past this part, I don't think. This level's so cool. I love that big glowing screen as soon as you hit that orb. It feels so good. Okay, just follow the dots and you'll be fine. And then we have the ship section where you kind of just float up here. And we have the insane camera pan out. I think this level does really good with emphasizing the pan outs. And I'm glad that these are getting more popular. A lot of people were scared of filling up the screen with these objects when you were so small and not feeling right. But I feel like creators are now actually mastering how to manage that properly. And we have this ending. Are you